Hi, this is the memory optimization section for Chapter 7 of Train Your Brain for Success. In Chapter 7, you started learning about how to begin creating and how to understand the fundamentals of what we call energizing goals. When you set up and go after goals in your life, they can either give you energy or they can drain your energy. What you learned about in this chapter is how there's 5 characteristics of an energizing goal, an objective that you can put forth for yourself or an intention that will give you energy. Those 5 characteristics are that your goals will need to be meaningful to you. Your goals will secondly need to be specific and measurable. Sometimes a due date is a good thing, sometimes it's not. We talked about that in the chapter. Thirdly, your goals will need to be the right size if they're going to give you energy. Number 4, they need to be written down. And number 5 is they must be reviewed. Now here's the interesting thing about creating images to lock in your learning. We're talking about some fairly abstract concepts here. The idea of being specific and measurable, that's not already an image for you. In previous chapters when I had you visualize a highlighter, you know what a highlighter looks like, but what do these things look like to your brain? Well, I'm going to give you the images that I've used to lock these in. If you have a better image or a more personal image that works better for you, go for it. I would actually encourage you to do that. Any image that you give yourself is going to be better than any image that I give you. The reason that I'm giving you images here is because the images that I give you are going to be better than the images that you don't give yourself. So let's create the image to lock in the 5 characteristics of an effective or energizing goal. Back in Chapter 3, number 7 you know is a hockey stick on your unicorn list. And I had you visualizing that hockey stick shooting 5 characters, like a cartoon character, into a goal. This one actually makes some sense. So here's the characters that I want you to image or visualize in your mind. The first character, these visualize them like cartoon characters, right? The first one that's getting whacked into the goal is a really mean guy. I don't care what the image is. I just want you to picture that he's very mean because that's a good visual trigger for the concept of meaningful. The second character that's getting slapped into the goal is a ruler because that's what you use to measure. Your second characteristic of an energizing goal needs to be specific and measurable. The third characteristic, this one's going to seem a little weird potentially to you, but it worked really well for me. The third characteristic of an effective goal is that it needs to be the right size. What I pictured for this is the baby bear from Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Because everything in Papa Bear's world was too hot, too large. Everything in Mama Bear's world was too cold or too small. But in Baby Bear's world, everything was just right. Everything was the right size. That was the image that I came up with for this. The fourth character that you're going to be whacking into the goal with your hockey stick is a pen, because your goals need to be written down. And then the fifth one is that your goals need to be reviewed. Here's the image that I used for reviewed. Is one of those old-time movie viewers, like that you clicked and the slides went for. That's called a viewer, and that's from my own childhood, and that worked really well for me. Now again, if you have images that you like better, when I talk about a viewer, or if I talk about being specific and measurable, or if I talk about being something the right size and a different image comes to your mind, great, go for it. Otherwise, take the opportunity and just visualize that hockey stick, shooting Mr. Mean into the goal, shooting the ruler into the goal, shooting the baby bear that's just the right size into the goal, shooting that pen into the goal, and last but not least, shooting that viewer into the goal. You've now got a great image that with a little bit of review and practice will help you lock in the 5 characteristics of an energizing goal. Enjoy those, lock those in, and when you got that, go ahead and move on to Chapter 8. We'll see you after you get done with it.